Mhm. Hello. Hi, Karma.
Hi, thank you for
Welcome
having
to,
me.
yeah, welcome to the Intuition Academy. I've known you for a few years now, and just you live a little bit further away from me, but we're both in Utah. But I've got to watch you from afar, and I just call, like, is there any modality you don't use? Because you are just, I feel like you know so much about so many different things. So, yeah, if you want to introduce yourself a
I,
little bit.
I am a modern day philosopher. I took a giant leap in 2015 and I did not retire. I just completely walked away. I was a paramedic for 20 years, so I was in the medical field and a teacher for a long time, an EMS instructor and field training officer. So I had been a psychic my whole life, but it was never given any room. So I just lane changed and
Why? What made you do that?
my Chiron return, I don't know what to tell you, but I've been a psychic my whole life. And it was, my ex-husbands really didn't like it. They were very devout, religious individuals, and it made them really uncomfortable. And there wasn't a lot of room in that environment for it. And so once I found myself alone, I was like, why not? And so I decided to give it 100% of my effort. And I dove into anything I could get my hands on. You've watched me study Hellenistic astrology. I
Yeah.
took on the Master of Sacred Sound and the drum practitioner last year. This year, I took a 9-month channeling class. I really just wanted the channel that he was playing with and to see what he was seeing.
Yeah.
And it was nice to have a meditation practice that was intentional. So it kept me really in alignment for about 9 months. So I've been kind of quietly playing with that.
Yeah.
I studied Hellenistic astrology. Do not ask me to do your chart. That is like science. But I
Yeah.
love having that in my head.
Yeah, you're
I
an
read, I
endless
read
student.
tarot, but
Yeah, endless student. That's what I love about the Intuition Academy because for so long I was trying to identify like what demographic am I working with? And it's anyone and that wants to expand their intuition and their connection to source, whatever modality it gets to be, you know. Um, so keep going.
well, okay. So my perspective is I've been gifted since I was a child. I say
Yeah,
we discovered it when I was 3, but I think that was just when we discovered language. And
right.
there's a whole story of that activation. I fell and hit my head, blah, blah, blah. But what's true is I was the only one I knew. And it was just such an oddity most of my life. I was born in 1970. So, here I am watching people wake up around me. And, it's fun to have company on the road and actual conversations that are deeper than, wow, what do you pick up about me?
Right.
Everybody has something to play with.
Right.
And I'm watching. I do mentorship. I'm an NLP practitioner, so that's programming the brain. I love a beautiful mix of science and spirituality, and I love that modern era and information is giving us that science to it, you know.
Yeah, it's so confirming.
Yeah, and so I get to be alive and watch that whole transition in my lifetime.
Hmm. Hmm.
Consciousness is a huge subject. Being woke is
It is
in.
so fun. Well, it's like finally again, I'm like, there was a minute where I was having a hard time getting excited when I woke up in the morning. But like learning new stuff really is like that's where it's at. It's not dumbing down with our phones and all this information that's thrown at us. It's being very intentional of where we're putting our focus every day and ritualistic about it in a way, you know?
Intentional of the word.
Yeah.
It really is, in this modern culture, there's this philosophy that we're going to have some sudden awakening and a life-changing event, whether it's ayahuasca, plant medicine, or
Yeah.
we take on meditation or etc. But the truth is, all things must be done in a sacred manner. And this is a 3D experience. And integration and doing things intentional, consciousness is conscious. So once we have this, we step into the next phase, we're choosing to do it. And
Yeah.
so once we're awake, that's like waking up in the morning and now what? And we take our coffee and we do our things. So it's what we do with it consciously. And that's what's next. It's the everyday practice is next, and then we start to link, you know.
that's what's happening, I think, with, AI coming in and taking all our jobs. It's like actually our real job is to figure out what really lights us up and what we can create instead of being these robots. Like what really sets your heart on fire, Who are you really at the core when you strip away this 9 to 5, the identities everyone gives you, who are you at your core? And that's what I love about what you do. It's like you get to the core of who somebody is, and then it's like, now what do we do? You know,
Yeah.
with all that creativity that's
Yeah,
inside
and I
of
get
us.
to see it from, you know, listen, I didn't have any support. So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, right?
You
Right.
know, and I love to teach the basics. There's a lot of things out there, but like my meditation class, Meditation for the Modern Mystic, really wasn't a class I wanted to write for others. It was just 6 years of dogged determination trying to figure out my own energy body.
Yeah.
And, I love to go into deep dive. So there's a whole lecture on plant medicine coming from my medic perspective, because I'm like, these are
Cool.
chemicals and here's what they do.
Love
Um,
it.
but there's you asked me earlier, I said, what is it? What is the agenda for today? What's our intention? And you said some of the practical steps
Yeah.
or things that people can do. Like, what do you do first?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, if you go on my website, don't sleep on my blogs. They're just quietly out there chilling, but there's some good stuff on there. We've had some activations and downloads in the last year. And one of them was a crown chakra activation. And the thing that's important about the crown chakra is it's light and DNA is light, they're photosensitive. So we're getting body downloads, we're getting adjustments to our DNA. And so, crown chakra, any higher activation is really going to be about the body. And most people wake up, the first thing that happens is their emotions. So, here we are all over the place with our emotions and then our belly. And so,
Yeah.
empaths come to me with their belly, and I'm like, we have more nerve endings in our belly than our spinal cord and our brain. And this is where our character is. And so, the first thing I teach people is just the nervous system in the body, the
Yeah.
mighty I am, the root chakra. And so balancing the lower, activate the upper. And that's what people don't teach is we don't have to clear these upper ones. We just do the lower work,
Uh-huh.
stay in the body. And that's why I say it's all 3D. It's all physical too.
Yeah. It's so true. I was working on a girl the other day and I was listening to her chakras with my tuning fork and what I was feeling in my body and it was like it kept swapping. Like I would clear this half of her body and then it would swap. And I was like, you know what? We just got to focus on it's
Well,
just
there's
the
there's
nervous system.
pairings and correlations like, the yoni, the sacral chakra and the throat. There's pairings in the upper and the lower. So it's
Yeah.
just telling you they're balancing. That's beautiful.
Tell me a little bit. Well, yeah, so you do really tell me about your typical clientele. Who do you normally work with?
Ooh. You know what's interesting is I have a huge slice. So the demographic for this work is 70-30, female to male. And I
Really?
have a really strong male presence in
That's a
my
lot.
reading. Probably, yeah, I have like 40%, and
Wow.
it's funny because women will come and they like want a 15-minute read. No offense, ladies, but they want a 15-minute reading and they want to know the meaning of life. Men come and they have one question, they book an hour, they're like, I'm good. But they're
Yeah.
really easy to work with. And once they realize this is a thing and there's a matrix, like they figure out when they take my meditation class, they're like, oh, this does that, and they get really excited. But I have to admit, my clientele is in their 20s.
Wow.
I don't, you'd think that being 55 and a grandma, that I would reach my own age group, but nope, it's the early 20 something. So I have a huge slice and they're just so excited. I think we have our finger on the wrong pulse. They say they ain't nothing, but I'm telling you, these kids are going to take over the world. They live
Yeah.
differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
So typically, I have to say, roll the dice. The number one question I get besides relationships is meaning of life, right? And it's kind of difficult to answer because it's a deeply personal thing, So I try to help with guidance with that. But relationships,
Yeah.
relationships, we become so symbiotic and nothing has us doubt ourselves more. And I find that often when we start to get symbiotic with a partner, the empathy starts to pick up and that's where it gets all confused. But for the most part, it's relationships. I come
Yeah.
in and do a little general spread. I don't mix coaching and readings because it's like different parts of the brain.
Mm.
NLP is like math where I'm analyzing and making a plan and doing approaching it a little differently. But the readings are very eclectic and the cards are like a tool, but I never know what's going to come out of my mouth, which is really fun.
Oh my
You're like,
gosh, the
what's
reading
this?
you gave me was so fun. And it really changed the trajectory of the last 3 years.
Really?
I was in a relationship. I was gonna choose somebody else. I'd been seeing a man in my dreams for, months leading up to it. But I mean, we're not together, but it was the most, I learned so, so much in that relationship. And thank God that, I chose it. As painful as it's been, it was like that was definitely the soul contract that I needed. But it was really cool to see you on a Zoom just do your thing with the cards. They unfold and like you cannot deny how accurate they are. They're
It's
such a
really
fun
fun.
tool.
And I rarely get feedback. Sometimes I will a couple months later. You were so right. But
Yeah.
it's, no pressure or anything, but it's like, because there's
I
nothing
listened
to
to it
go by.
again and I was like, I would have made the same choice, like I could have gone the other safe way, but I learned the lesson a lot quicker choosing the other one and it was really good advice and I'm very grateful.
Yeah, that's good to
Yeah.
hear. I love this. I have to say, for people that want to do this as a business,
Yeah.
it is about living. A lot of people I hear people talk about imposter syndrome and how they're nervous to start. But what's true is I watch people totally, you ever seen the movie Infinite?
Mm-mm.
He makes a sword out of nowhere because he remembered it from a past life.
Wow.
True is we're activating memories and information. And, I don't know, just to trust yourself. Like people sometimes don't need formal education and to just trust the natural intuition with things.
Yeah.
And
That is so, so
I
true.
see people,
Intuition.
I've trained people that have far surpassed me in certain things. And,
Yeah.
all I'm really doing is activating something and pointing out what's there.
That is such a good point. Like when I coach people, I'm like, I'm not going to sign a contract. I'm not going to have you do any long thing. This is such an intuitive process. And when we're done, I'm going to probably refer you on to somebody else that can activate you even further. And that's what we're doing, in community. And I love that. But that's why I'm bringing on all my mentors and my activators because it's like even though you guys deliver different messages, at the core, it's the same. There's no doubt in my mind what my purpose is because my guides are coming in through these different channels, giving very similar messages. And so it's like breadcrumbs. And it's fun.
It really is. I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah.
Coming to Utah was kind of a crapshoot. I was on my
Where'd
way
you come
somewhere else.
from? How'd you grow up?
Oh, I was in Vegas and I had this opportunity to go to Miami and I stopped in St. George and that was it. My best friend was
Uh-uh.
like, give it 30 days. I found a spot. It was right before COVID. And
Wow.
that was when we were going to launch our coaching stuff. So that went full brakes because of COVID. I had got this big house with movable furniture so I could bring ladies in and I had all these weekends planned. But
Oh no.
um at first I was like, oh my, what are they going to do with a me in Utah?
For sure. Yeah.
Irish redhead New Yorker,
Yeah.
bad mouth, bad attitude. No, I'm just kidding. And psychic, a little different
Yeah.
tattoos.
How were you received?
Brilliantly. I love it here. I haven't had a single problem. I have one thing that I haven't had in my adult life, and that's girlfriends. I have neighbors and girlfriends, and we support each other, have dinner together, go out, we do things. I haven't had that. That is so rare.
That
Not one,
is so
like three
good.
or four. And I'm like, this is the dopest thing ever.
It is.
But there is a sense of community here. But I will say, um, my big goal for 2025 got delayed, but it's still there, is to do more free community events where we can get together and build community and connect. There's not enough opportunity for that. There's a lot of healing going on, a lot of
Yeah,
meetups, a lot of retreats, but I think what people are most hungry for is connection,
I know. That's what I want. If you ever do an online course or if you're going to do your online meditation, if you want to host it or we can collaborate at the academy, but
I would love the opportunity to play.
yeah,
And
uh,
mostly it's people have questions like where do I begin, where they're at now, and they just need a few little tweaks to keep them motivated because it is a solo practice. And what's true is once we start something like that, we're usually the only one in our little circle. And it's like, am I doing it right? And the thing that people forget is they have these expectations for highly spiritual experiences because of it. But what's true is it's often giving room for processing. It's recalibrating our nervous system.
yeah,
It's a gift to the body so that our
yeah.
the empathy, the emotions have room to move. And then when we do that often enough, there's room for these more subtle messages in the rest of our life so that when we finally sit down, it's not a pile or an avalanche of things we haven't taken care of. And so people get discouraged when they're not having like a miracle happen or a visitation. And
Yeah.
they just need to know that, and often they go to a class and then they're dumped to be on their own devices.
Or
You know,
even you brought up psychedelics. I've been a ketamine guide for the last couple years and I've sat in over 1,000 sessions. And to me, that's a lot. But I feel like, even the psychedelics are a bit of the training wheels. My friend, that's what she called it the other day. And I was like, it is a lot of this stuff we can do. Oh, shoot, I have a call coming in. Hold on, I'm so sorry. Oh,
I have this really bipolar belief system when it comes to plant medicine.
yeah,
Mind you, my background is in medicine. I used to teach, anatomy, physiology, pharmacology to all the paramedics and firefighters, et cetera, and EMTs. And so looking at this from that perspective, I recognize that we're altering things in the body. And then we have the spiritual side. And my belief is that it shouldn't be like, you hear, and I'm sorry, you guys can at me later, I don't care. But, or I've done 32 ayahuasca sessions or this or
okay.
that. And I'm like, what did you not get the first time? Culturally, where these are experienced, this was a culmination of training, the pinnacle of training. So you've already done your meditation and your cleansing, your preparedness. It's a walk. And then after you have your awareness, you sit with it. And we're doing it backward. So nowadays, it's the initiation. And what we're missing is the caminando, the walk, like the person walking with you through those unfolding layers. And
Makes sense.
so I kind of believe that it's being abused, but then you want to ask me the honest truth. I feel like everybody needs it at this point. Just throw
Amen.
it.
I feel the
You know what I
same
mean? So,
way.
I mean, I have that little bougie, judgmental perspective on its sacred
Same.
use, da 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 da. But I'm like, I think the entirety of St. George needs to go
Fine.
do some
Let's
mushrooms and
just
just
do it and
be a
ask
little
for
nicer.
forgiveness. Yeah, it's
But
like,
then I'm not all that serious. The levity of it all, it's like da da da
what's
da.
the worst that's gonna happen?
Yeah,
I might go into some
right.
kind of psychosis.
But I have seen some, mental health issues coming to the forefront from it. So I think we have to really walk with some respect for what we're doing. Plant medicine awakens us to a new way of looking at life.
Yeah,
And then we have to deal with the fact that some aspects of our life aren't there yet. And then we feel really detached. And so depression can come in. And so it's really, really important that
you have
people
a
are careful
support
that they choose the
system,
practitioner that's going to support that next step.
have a guide,
Yeah.
have a support
Like
system.
you, for example,
Yes.
I know you don't just give them a ketamine and kick them to the
No,
wall.
no, we set intentions. I sit with them. We do sound healing. We integrate afterwards. And to be honest, I'm not really doing it right now because a
Yeah.
lot of the things I'm doing are, we can get that naturally if, you know. So, I mean, I'll do it if somebody really needs a hard reset, but we're
Well,
elevating so quickly.
if I can talk somebody into microdosing or have them explore that
Yeah.
versus like the hero's journey or a big thing, I think you're doing training and reprogramming that way. And that's one of the conversations I want to have on my podcast with my girl Chantel is, she's done the hero's journey and I haven't done it, but I've done ayahuasca. So I feel like it's the same thing. But I'd love to have those two opposing conversations. And in essence, it's the medicine in either case, but I think it's wonderful. And I love seeing what is happening with it and it being legalized and its popularity. I think it's beautiful medicine. I'm excited to see
I just
with AI too. Like I heard you say something about AI.
Oh yeah. Well,
Research is a little different, but I mean, AI is just evidence of what we're able to do with our own brain because the physical always mirrors it. Remember 5D
right.
and
That's what I laugh
5D?
about when I branded the IA, the Intuition Academy. It's the IA. And that was before AI even came out. And I was like, fuck yeah, man. Like,
Love plays on words. That's
we're
good.
here, you know? So,
My thing with AI, like it's inevitable. I think we've already hit singularity and we just don't know it yet.
yeah, I agree.
Honestly,
No,
I
I
think
agree
they're
too.
shady and I don't think they know. And it was like Jurassic Park. We did it before we thought we should. Or
Well, I've been full on like researching different planets, different galaxies, trying to communicate with the, ETs. I'm like, let's do it.
ah,
Let's
I've
do
got
it.
so much fun stuff about I like my entire perspective on alien stuff has shifted over the years.
Yeah.
After discovering the law of one with LL Research. So if you go to llresearch.org, that's a deep dive you'll adore. If you like
Okay.
to read, it's the
I will.
kind of
I'm in it.
research I'll send you a link to it, or
Okay.
just anybody ask me. But LL Research is a channeling group that's been channeling since 1980.
Well,
And everything they've ever channeled, they've made a transcript of, and you can search it. And so
dang.
they
Yay,
talk
thanks for that.
about all kinds of connections about the evolution of and tinkering of human DNA and different roles of it's
That's
fun.
where it's gonna get really fun,
Oh, I have ideas that nobody is talking about, and I can't wait for somebody to pop with one so I can go, there it is.
Yeah.
I've had strange ideas most of my life. Being a psychic, I've had visions of all kinds of interesting things for many years,
It's
past life memories and
sometimes
stuff.
it scares me and I'll kind of shut it down for a minute, but then something will come so into my face where I'm like, I have way too much data to ignore this information that I can't just sit and not do anything about it. Like it's gonna kill me if I don't do something with this information. So, um,
Well, sometimes it's just energetic. And when we're pinged like that and we have an opportunity to transmute it, because we can't save the whole world. But from what I understand, hearing from the Galactic Council and my little channeling I've been doing is that sometimes that work is more profound on the energetic level.
uh,
And you know what I mean? So when we're doing our meditation, one nervous system at a time and finding balance, it affects the grid entirely. And I'm just going to give you one little piece of information that I'm hearing
what?
from the Galactic Council is that we have hit a tipping point. There's
Yeah.
no going back now. The momentum is there. It's like a tsunami. And even though from our perspective, especially US perspective, is it's more positive than we feel it to be right now.
Mhm.
And those things that are being churned up are just being churned up for us to release.
Mm,
And that's it.
yeah.
We've hit that tipping point. And
Yeah.
if you
Do you feel like
notice,
it just happened when the Schumann resonance was going freaking bonkers for 3 days in a row?
oh yeah, that was a total factory reset. We're in a completely
Right?
new timeline now. And
We
I'm
are. I
like
felt
a
it.
little whack-a-mole, like, yes, yes.
I
Yeah.
know. Let me on my hole. I love it. Oh, I love it. So tell me, what are you doing now? What are some of the like places that people can find you? Any projects you got going?
Projects. Yes. So
Anything,
my
what you working
search,
on?
okay, so I'm finishing my book. It was finished, and then I was teaching a 12-week class. It was 8, now it's 12 because I added the plant medicine, sacred sound, meditation, emotion, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Um, but I messed with my book and then I tried to play with ChatGPT to get a couple chapters. So it's kind of like cut and paste all over the place. So I'm 16 out of 24 chapters of my Meditation for the Modern Mystic
Cool.
book because some people learn by doing that in the workbooks. I've sat on it though. Spirit told me sit still. So here I am. I'm like in the shoot. Found 3 locations for retreats, possibly 4.
Awesome.
I have some very specific ideas, more of a conscious recalibration and training than it is like a healing retreat, or there's
Like,
plenty of those out where we work strictly with the nervous system. So you're getting those soft qualities. So you're resetting your nervous system that has to do with food, environment, doing a lot of sound therapy, releasing, but more calibrating and
so
education
just being human
within
again.
play. Yes, but
Yeah.
you're gonna come home so juicy,
Mm.
like relax. I'm really looking at Kava Loom. I'm in love. So And then I have a friend of mine building she has a ranch in Vegas, just outside of Vegas near Sandy Valley Ranch, where she's going to have soak tanks
Mm.
and yoga and fire pits out there and horses out in the desert. And that'll be breaking
Oh,
ground in September. So we're
cool.
going to go drum together this fall and I'll be able to book in April or so. So I have plenty of time for that one.
Fun.
I'm at Breathe Salt Room. You can find me at karmaondeck.com. That's my website. And all of my socials also are the same. So you can find me on TikTok. A lot of information on TikTok and YouTube, more on TikTok than anything, where there's little tips and tricks. I talk about salt and meditation and the third eye and science. Um,
You use astrology a lot in your stuff too, right? I mean, like,
yes, astrology is a language. So
yeah.
just like tarot, which are working with the archetypes of the mind. Tarot was originally a teaching tool for the Mesopotamians, and then it became, in Egypt, they would use them to teach you how to use the third eye. So the 22 major arcana was what was original, and that's it. But
Nice.
then the Mesopotamians made the little deck. But astrology, we had schools for this stuff. They were called the mystery schools. I mean, we think we know something about astrology, but they had whole systems of college where they were raised up in it as children. So I could just imagine what that must have been like to have like everybody activated.
Yeah.
But astrology is a language. Those symbols, whether you fully know what they mean or not, you're working with those deep seeds of the mind. So, yeah, I do pour paintings and then
Yeah.
I hand draw someone's natal astrology chart on it and give them a little insight on it. I love to do that.
I love that so much. I mean, I bet people I love them and they turn out so beautiful. I'm sure the colors end up
Yes,
capturing like,
I love that when I'm painting, when I'm doing the pour paints, I'm getting activations on what the individual is like. I'm channeling them. And then when I start to draw the chart, I'm like, oh, there it is. There's their sun in Leo and first house. Okay, that makes sense. And so I'm not no astrologer by any stretch. I'm much more the clairvoyant and psychic than anything. But I'm glad I get to understand that language enough to follow along. Like I'll be
right?
listening to these astrologers, I'll be like, oh yeah, my Chiron. Oh, look at that retrograde. But that's about all I can do is follow along.
I'm the same way
Well,
with
I can't do
tarot.
those energy reports, but I can fly them tarot cards.
Same. I mean, I'm not, I, I've been doing tarot forever and like I throw down like crazy. But there's still always this part of me that's like, there's still so much to learn about. So much. It's a fun.
I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit.
Better.
I said I wasn't going to take any more courses, and here I went with Daniel Scranton. Check him out. He's an amazing channel.
Daniel Scranton.
I've watched everything he had to channel, and then he offered a class on a scholarship thing. So I just was like, let's go.
Good. That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, he channels the Arcturian Council.
Cool.
So that's where I wanted to play. That's where I really wanted to play. I'm like, teach me your ways.
I know I'm so this
If I were to
girl.
pass on something else too, I would tell the men out there that are listening, play with astrology. It satisfies the brain. And
Yeah.
the rhythmic, clock-like way of astrology. I love when men get involved in it. My instructor was a male, and I think that they just get to the meat of it so much quicker.
I've been
In a way.
cracking up. I've been following a ton of astrologers and readers that are men on TikTok, and it's like you guys are spot on, and I loved
Yeah.
it. I love to hear it coming from a man. It's
I
crazy.
so I started my YouTube channel by befriending Maru Matu of Sun Soul Astrology. I don't know what her channel is now, but she was
Uh-huh.
the #1 YouTube astrologer at the time. And she's like, I'm drawing dots. And she's like, what are you drawing? And it ended up being like, I don't know, some constellation. So she goes, you need to do a channel. So I started doing this channel and I tried my damnedest to try and figure out astrology and it wasn't hitting. I just couldn't figure it out. I was like, it's not for me. It's not my channel. It's not my language. Until I found Nightlight Astrology, Adam Ellenboss, and he teaches like an instructor. He's like, squares are this and that in square. And then he'll go, look at your first house or look at your ascendant. Where's your ascendant? If it's in Taurus, this is going on. So as he's doing it, he's teaching you how to look at your chart. And I was hooked. So I felt like
Uh,
I could follow along while he was doing what he's doing. And then again, like Daniel Scranton, I just dove in and I'm like, I went year one and then I went year two. I don't know if I can hang with year three. I didn't finish two, but I'm gonna get back to it in the wintertime. But
Well, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear,
oh, but
you
I don't
know?
like to have one at a time. I like to binge it and go like astrology for 6 months, you know what I mean? And then just eat it all up and then just
Serious.
percolate for a while.
No, and then I'm like, then I have to 3D and actually like make money and so they can pay for all these courses that I want to take all the time. But
Yeah, I allow myself one thing a month or I starve a little bit. I've found that if I go too far one direction or the other, if I go all spiritual, my 3D suffers a little bit.
hmm
But then my spirituality increases when I dive back into the 3D. But if I leave my spirituality on the shelf, I find my empathy suffers. I find that my moods swing more. But it's a religion. It's a devotion.
a devotion is a really good way to put it. Yep, I would agree.
Like it leads you back, so don't let it slip, and you'll do better.
It's hard to get back, isn't it? Oh man.
Well, there is muscle memory, so even if you slip out for a month or 6 months, it's almost as if you can step right back into it. So don't trip if you're out
But
of the
don't go
game.
too
Just
long.
come on back.
Yeah.
The water's fine.
Yeah. Totally.
And we're all out here. Come on.
Well, that was you dropped some really beautiful golden nuggets. We'll go ahead and link. I'll post this on the TikTok and YouTube,
Thank you.
all the things, and share your website because having a reading with you is so much fun. Like so much fun. And so I would encourage anyone to, and I love that we can do these readings anywhere in the world. You don't have to be, local.
Well, if you want me to come on and do some lives for your people, I'd be delighted to come on and do a
Let's do
live
that. Okay.
readings. Let them ask any kind of spiritual question, not just a reading. They could be
Okay.
like, "Well, I'm not sleeping well, or I'm having lucid dreams." I could do live for you, and I'd be delighted
Let's
to
do
do some.
it.
Like, if you want to do a series for some meditation classes, or just, I've been wanting to do, um, meditations. Like I said, Spirit told me to sit on it, but Spirit has also been telling me that to wait for collaboration. And so I've waited patiently for that, and you
Well, we
have.
have some amazing other mystics in the circle that want to share, and everyone sees the abundance. We all share business.
Yes.
Share or free stuff, it's
There's
like,
no such thing as competition, and I'm willing to introduce myself, give away some tips and tricks and free stuff. If you're inspired by me, come
yeah,
find me. If not, like I always tell people, go where inspired, period. If
period.
something feels off, it usually is. Trust your intuition. And
Yeah.
if anybody wants to vet a practitioner, call me. I'll help you figure out if they're good for you.
Oh, that's such a great offering.
Because there's ways that you can look if they're, and honestly, if you have any doubt, it's an automatic no. One of
Yeah.
my favorite coaching hints is don't make your maybes yeses. A maybe's a no. You know what your yes is.
I know mine
Stay
is
there.
not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
Yeah.
Pretty easy, you
And
know.
we force things sometimes because we don't want to be judgmental, but sometimes having good judgment's where it's at.
Discernment.
Yeah.
All
Thank you
right,
so much for having me. You are a delight.
you too. I can't wait. I'll message you on the site and we'll get started on some other fun ways to
Yeah.
collaborate.
Anyway, I'm ready.
Me too.
Bring in
Okay.
the shoot, girl. Let's go.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Namaste.
Yeah. Goodbye.